Sometimes in life you come across people, whether at work, in public, I don't know, at home, that are really unpleasant, rude, disrespectful, out of nowhere. You just can't explain it. You've not done anything wrong, and you feel bad and you feel like you've done something. And this video is about explaining the projection that some people can do, and that they don't hate you, they hate themselves. And I'm sure a lot of you already know this concept, but understanding this concept in theory as opposed to actually living it through experience can be different. I've recently had a sort of one of those experiences at the gym with what they call a Karen, I guess. I was trying to use the squat rack, right? And she was using it, and I had just come to the gym, right? So I just went up to her and asked her, "Oh, how many sets you got left?" And I asked really politely, as I always do. And she was an older lady, maybe in her 40s, no, I think 50s, maybe. Kind of bad with like guesstimating age, to be honest. So yeah, maybe in her 50s actually. And asked her like, "Oh, how many sets you got left?" She was wearing a headphone. So she took off the headphones and she was like, "Excuse me," whatever. It's like, well, I just asked you a question. What's going on? And she's like, "I have two more sets," and she just like shrugged me off, and it's like, what's going on, man? I was like, whatever, man. I'm not. First of all, like she's a lady, and second of all, she's older than me, so I'm just gonna respect her. I'm not gonna. If it was like a guy my age, I would have been like, "Can't talk to me like that." But I chose to ignore her just for her age and being a woman as well. So I just went to another squat rack that I don't really like using because, and she was also like a beginner. I'm not saying this in a condescending way. All I'm saying is like I actually need that squat rack because it matters to me a lot in the way I train. That's why I was waiting for it. And she was doing something really that doesn't really matter, if that makes sense, in terms of what squat rack you use. She was using the actual squat rack that like the power lifters use. So I let it go. I was using the normal squat rack after that and was just warming up, waiting for her to finish. And then she eventually finished, and I jumped on that squat rack and started doing my actual sets. And I just didn't look at her. I tried to, like, you know what? You're not gonna project your hate on me. You want to hate yourself? Keep your hatred inside of you. I don't want to deal with that. So I kept training as usual, and then I wanted to film myself because I film myself for my coach. He sees my videos, so I asked her for permission, obviously, because she was there, and I like angled the phone in a way that she wasn't going to be in the video because for privacy and stuff, I wanted only me to be there, obviously. So, and asked her for permission anyways, just to be respectful. So I told her, "Excuse me, can I film myself?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, of course." And she was suddenly very nice and happy, and she smiled at me, and I was like, "Good, good for you," because you were able to snap out of the self hatred that you were going through, because you're obviously not happy and you wanted to make me feel unhappy as well. But thankfully, she took a step back and she acted nicely after that. So this was just a quick example of what people can do, I guess, in life, and it's just a very mild example. To be honest, it can be much worse than this, and it certainly has been for me in certain experiences in my life. Like a recent person that I recently worked with was just very unpleasant all the time. It was like they were so unpleasant that I thought they were joking. Genuinely, I thought like this person can't be real, and they were, unfortunately. So I just distanced myself and set some boundaries. So my point is, and the point of this video is, when you deal with people who are very disrespectful, rude, obnoxious, just annoying, don't allow them to make you feel bad about yourself like you've done something wrong. Because those people are projecting, okay? And you can project self hate, you can project self criticism, you can project self inferiority slash superiority complex. You can project literally anything inside of you and anything that you feel. And not everyone in life is feeling good about themselves. So when you go out into the world, you're going to meet all different types of people. And some of them love themselves, some of them hate themselves. So you're gonna have to be careful with what you allow to enter your soul and what you allow to not enter your soul. So self-hate is just one of them. When someone wakes up and all they can think about is negative self-talk and they just hate themselves and they don't like where they are in life and they just wish they were a different person, that self-hate has to come out. If it doesn't come out, it's like I don't know, like a burning fire inside of them that's going to eventually burn them. So they want to remove that fire and give it to you. So you burn a little bit and they burn a little bit, and then neither of you actually burns, if that makes sense. So just dispersing the fire. And whatever is inside of you, it has to come out. You can't hide it. And I remember people used to say like, you cannot give what you don't have, or if you don't love yourself, you can't love people. And I used to understand that in theory. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. But it's different when you actually understand it through your body and through your soul. Like you've actually seen that and felt that, if that makes sense. Because the opposite is true. When someone loves themselves, they will inevitably be kind and be nice just because they feel good about themselves. They are positive, hopeful. They have a lot of good emotions going around inside their heart and their body. So it's really hard for them to hide that. So that has to come out. So the good cannot be hidden, just as the bad cannot be hidden. So when a person feels good about themselves, it will come out and they will treat you nicely, pleasantly, and that's exactly what they feel on the inside. It's just a reflection of what they feel on the inside. So actions are a reflection of your inner state, essentially. And if you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else? Because you need to know how to love. And the first person who's going to be affected by that love is you, if you actually love yourself and if you actually feel or are able to experience love. So if you don't know how to do that, how can you love someone else? You might be able to love someone else, and it could be something like, I don't know, separation anxiety or abandonment issues or things like that, like motives that are not pure love, just maybe something out of need or something out of need for approval or recognition or things like that, not actual love. And as I said, you can not only project self hate, you can project insecurity, you can project rage, you can project inferiority, you can project so much. So I was going to title this video, They Don't Hate You, They Hate Themselves. I might change it to projection. We'll see. Or I might have like both in the title, just projection between like brackets or something. But my point is, as a practical solution, it is very important to filter those people out and whatever they say and not take it personally, because you don't want people to disrupt your peace with their issues and traumas that they should work on and not dump those things on you. And unfortunately, I think the Karen example is always associated with like middle-aged women who are not in shape and things like that. And I don't mean to be condescending or making fun of them at all. This is not the point. But what I'm saying is the meme came about from the understanding, whether conscious or subconscious, that those women are not happy with themselves. That's why they're in that phase where they're getting older, they're not in shape, things like that, which they don't have to feel. Obviously, you can be all of those things, middle aged, whatever, overweight, and still be happy about yourself and love yourself. Your physicality doesn't determine your inner state. But my point is, it's a common theme. It's a common theme. And I'll just take a step further as well and say that sometimes when you see a lot of people sort of, okay, what I'm trying to say is self-hate can appear on a person's appearance as well, whether that's self-neglect or extreme body modification and things like that. that can be a sign of self-hate as well. Because when you're not content, when you're not feeling good about yourself, as I said in the previous video, the video on easy solutions, and the solution is always within. I talked about how quick solutions are not solutions. They're not even solutions, and they have a lot of consequences, and they signal and signify lack of self-respect because you don't allow yourself to explore actual inner solutions that actually work and improve your self-esteem and your self-respect. But sorry for the digression here. The point is, self-hate can appear on your appearance as well if you're not taking care of yourself, or you're changing a lot about yourself to the point where you want to become a different person because you can't tolerate the person that you are. And I'm not saying this to be like shameful or like making people feel bad about themselves. I want to make people feel good about themselves, and I love people, and I want people to be more confident and self-loving and all of that. So, but unfortunately, those people will still remain, and those people, you'll get a lot of self-hate projection from them. And the person that I was working with that I told you about, when they were talking to me with all of that just rudeness and disrespect, they said to me that I have this and I'm struggling with this, and I don't want to say it, but they reached a point of not enjoying their life and self-hate to the point that they wanted to delete themselves. And I feel bad for them. I feel for them and I wish them the best, but it's not my responsibility to take on that self-hate and to allow you to disrupt my peace because you're projecting. Sometimes good people can have self-hate and contain it and not let it spill out. And I respect that a lot because dealing with self-hate is normal, but allowing yourself to project onto others and hurt others is not normal. It's a way to relieve the pain by making you feel the pain. So it's kind of selfish. So when that person was saying those things, like I'm struggling with this and I have that and I have all of these things, and I don't want to name the things, because I don't want to I don't want people who have those things to feel bad about themselves. But my point is, I realized right there and then that this person is essentially telling me that I hate myself so much and I'm struggling so much, and this is the explanation for my behavior because they were really rude with me, really disrespectful. And I eventually just distanced myself. Um, but my point is, they were subconsciously telling me that they were not happy at all, and it makes sense why they were acting that way. Okay? So when you see someone trying to belittle you, someone trying to put you down, someone trying to shame you, someone trying to break you, someone trying to make you feel bad about yourself, someone trying to make you feel hatred and anger and bitterness, remember that that person feels that exact same thing. That's why they're trying to make you feel that way, because that's all they know. It's like people in the comments, the haters in the comments. They hate themselves. They have nothing going on for themselves, so they just want to take that out on you and bring you down because misery loves company. And I also want to talk about an important thing. Um, we have a saying in Arabic that goes like كل إناء بما فيه ينضح. And the Arabs will know this one, which means that like every vessel, I guess, will bring out what's inside of it, if that makes sense. So let's say you have a cup, that cup, when you like pour whatever is inside onto the floor, whatever is inside will have to come out. So same concept here. And we usually say it when, in these instances in Arabic, let's say someone's very bitter. Let's talk about these gender wars that are happening in social media. But thankfully, I don't use social media, so I'm kind of spared from that. Um, yeah, stupidity. Um, those bitter people. Let's say a man says like all women are X or all women are whatever, and logically, it can't be true because you can't generalize because we have what 4 billion women on earth, so you literally cannot generalize. So that statement is emotional, it's not logical at all. That's one. Two, that person is, as we say in Arabic, كل إناء بما فيه ينضح. That person is ينضح ing, okay, with what's inside of them, and what's inside of them is pure hatred, similar to the incel culture, I guess, and the femcel culture, and all these weird things that we're having these days. And same with women when they generalize as well. All men are X, all men are Y, all men are whatever you want to say. Really, like, it's obviously emotional. It's obviously illogical, and it doesn't say anything about men, or when men say it doesn't say anything about women. All it says is everything about you. When I hear someone saying those things, I just feel like, dude, you just told me exactly what you are. You just told me exactly what you are on the inside. Thanks for telling me that, and thanks for being so transparent. See, I had a friend who told me, like, I don't know. Again, let's use the same example. All women are bad, all women are whatever. I don't want to use like stronger words because I find that disrespectful, but I would feel very off and very weirded out just because you've just told me that you're such a bitter person and such a hateful person. And that's not a logical comment. You're not being constructive in any way. You're not being conducive. All you're saying is, all you're doing is being an emotional person, taking out all of your the garbage that is inside of you and laying it out on people. And in this instance, 4 billion human beings, aka women. So it's interesting. It's interesting. And I really like this example as well. You know, in the gym, they always say the biggest dude is always the nicest. And there is a reason for that, because that big dude most likely have failed a lot, have gone through a lot of hardships, have struggled to attain what they have attained, and they feel for people, and they've reached a point where they feel good about themselves and they appreciate the results, and they are also more empathetic because they've gone through these experiences. So when you ask them for advice or help and things like that, they're always super nice and they're always willing to help. As opposed to the beginners at the gym. Not all of them, obviously, I'm not generalizing here, but the point is, I'm a serious gym goer. I always go to the gym, and I've been going to the gym for 10 years. And it's almost always the beginners that are rude. Almost always. I just can't emphasize this enough. It's actually crazy. And I've realized this pattern here. The people who are hardworking, they always go to the gym, the serious goers are always nice. The beginners are always rude. Obviously, I say always for the dramatic effect, but we're not generalizing here. But for me personally, all my experiences personally have been bad with beginners. Just like that woman that I told you about at the start of the video, the middle-aged woman. She was just so rude. Like, what's going on? And she was a beginner. Like, she was just very new to the gym, and she was like maybe squatting the bar. And I'm not saying this to make fun of her. I'm saying this to make you understand how much of a beginner she was. But it's exactly that. A beginner might feel insecure, might feel a lot of things on the inside, a lot of hatred, a lot of defensiveness. Like, oh, this guy seems like he works out. He's gonna judge me. So I'm gonna be like aggressive and rude, and you know what I mean. When I was just like literally asking a simple question: how many sets do you have left? So again, all of those emotions, that like turmoil of emotions that was going on inside of her, came out. She couldn't help suppress it. She couldn't help not let it go out, if that makes sense. So whenever you're dealing with people, whether at work your boss is trying to make fun of you, your boss is being condescending, or someone's trying to break you, someone's trying to gaslight you, someone's trying to make you feel inferior, someone's trying to discourage you, from seeking something, from achieving your goals, from pursuing your dreams, know that that person, that's exactly how they talk to themselves. That's why they're in that position. And I genuinely wish that that person or those kind of people overcome that inner problem. But they will have to get rid of the selfishness. They'll have to get rid of that sort of weak mentality where I don't want to face my own demons. I'm going to let my own demons attack you, and then they're just going to come back to me. So, yeah, a lose-lose situation here. Nobody's winning. So, yeah. Even with parents, I guess, parents can be hypercritical of their kids, and that's exactly how they feel about themselves. I was talking to one of my close friends recently, and they told me that their parents are always hypercritical of them, especially in their academic achievements. I was like, listen, you don't need to feel bad because you failed an exam or something, because you place your values in whatever you find important. Your parents are just projecting their values onto you, and if they fail, they're going to feel worthless. You don't need to feel worthless because those are not your values. Those are values that were projected onto you and you internalize them. You don't need to internalize those things, externalize them and throw them away. You create your own values. So, yeah, just in a nutshell, people will treat you exactly how they treat themselves. Sometimes people can compensate and can hide what they feel on the inside. They can, for example, hate themselves but treat you nicely. They try, but eventually it will come out. So that's why, let's say you're looking for a partner, look for someone who's confident, someone who loves themselves, someone who's not loves themselves isn't like egotistical or like narcissist or something like that. No, I'm talking about normal self-love. Someone who appreciates themselves, because that's how they're going to treat you in that relationship. Okay? I was going to conclude here, but I want to add another point. I remember seeing memes online when I was on social media where girls would say, and just to like a disclaimer here, I don't date, and this is totally against my culture and my religion. So this is not me condoning this, but I'm saying it because I've seen it. Um, yeah, I used to see those memes on social media where girls would say, go for the nerdy guy. And not in a good way, not the nerdy guy who's like actually stable and whatever. No, like go for the nerdy guy because the nerdy guy will, and the guy not only nerdy, but sorry, but like nerdy, but like with low self-esteem and things like that because he won't cheat on you. And this is very interesting. And I'll explain this as well. It might not be very applicable for this video, but I'm gonna do it anyways because this channel is just for fun. Okay, so let's break it down. So a girl wants a guy with low self-esteem and a nerdy guy who's like, I don't know, never talked to a girl in his life, and someone with low social skills, low self-esteem, self-confidence, whatever. Why? So he doesn't cheat. So she has control over that person. Okay. All right. This is this is very interesting. I don't see a lot of people talking about this. This example. Forget about girl and guy. Just focus on the wantings here. Focus on this dynamic. Okay. Her expectation is that this guy is not going to cheat because he feels so badly about himself, self hate, so badly about himself that he will always crave her validation and approval. So he won't do anything against her or make her feel bad because he's scared and he has low self-esteem and he just doesn't want her to hate him. Okay, that's literally the opposite, exactly the opposite. Okay, Let's use another example here that I'm going to combine both examples to explain what I'm trying to talk about. Example B, okay, let's say that was example A, so this is example B. A girl is going for a guy who's confident, self-loving, things like that. And she feels like this guy is let's say he's attractive and handsome as well, and all those things, like rich, whatever. She feels insecure, like, oh, this guy might cheat because he has options, okay? And he doesn't have low self-esteem, and it's kind of scary, like this guy, can't trust him, I need someone I can control. I can't control this guy. And let's also say that this guy has values, and this guy has morals, and is confident, and is actually living according to those morals, okay? Who do you think will actually cheat? Let me just drink some water as you think. Okay. It most likely is going to be person A. Why? Okay. Because that girl had a very wrong assumption, which is self-hate equals an opportunity to control. And self-hate means seeking constant validation and being obedient. However, a guy who has low self-esteem and doesn't have clear values and morals, he's always emotional, um, being dragged around by whatever his internal state is. And if he has a lot of self-hate with low self-esteem and all those things, he's more likely to project that, okay? And he can't be loving. He will not be loving eventually. And what I mean by that is because that's not him. He hates himself. So he's not gonna love you or respect you. Might be controlled for a while, okay? But that will not last long. And he will eventually cheat because that person has no values and no self-respect and no self-esteem and self-hate. So you cannot control people, okay? Even if you prey on their insecurities and self-hate. And the other example is a person who has all the opportunities to cheat, but they won't. Why? Because they are actually self-loving and confident, and they have their own values that they will abide by whether they're in a relationship or not. So that's why you pick a person who's self-loving, because they will treat you that way, and they will also exercise their values as you know them, as you know that person. But a person who doesn't love themselves is not a stable person, and is not a safe person. They're not safe because they're emotional, and the decisions that they make are based on their self-hate, not on their self-love. This is a vague, abstract kind of concept here, so I hope it's making sense. But I hope that made sense. I don't know. Hopefully. But yeah. So, yeah, when you're trying to pick a partner, a lot of people make the mistake of going for the low self-esteem person because they think they can control them, and they think that if they hate themselves, they're gonna beg for my validation. And it's kind of a very dark and weird narcissistic manipulation thing, but I've seen it over and over, and I know it. And they think they can use that and abuse that, but it's literally the opposite. You should pick a person who is confident and who loves themselves, because you can trust that person, because that's how they've been before meeting you, and they've stayed true to themselves. But the person who hates themselves, they're not going to stay true to themselves because they have no respect for themselves. Okay? And I'm not saying everyone like who hates themselves doesn't respect themselves, if that makes sense, but in this context, it's true. So, yeah, just to summarize, they don't hate you, they hate themselves. Why? Because they're projecting. they're projecting whatever is inside of them. As the Arabs say, كل إناء بما فيه ينضح, or in English, I guess, um, you cannot give what you don't have. Okay? So, if a person is being rude to you, obviously without you having done anything wrong, like, you know what I mean? You can't disrespect them and be like, oh, why are they being rude to me? Just out of the blue, no context, right? They're being rude to you, disrespectful. They're trying to put you down. They're trying to break you. They're trying to um, make you feel discouraged, make fun of you, all of those things. Put a barrier between you and them, because that's them projecting. Just let that barrier deflect their projecting back to them. If that makes sense. You're here, they're here. Let them project against that barrier and let it come back towards them. You stay safe on this side. Okay? And especially for people pleasers, you don't need to feel guilty. You don't need to feel like you need to please them. You don't have, or you shouldn't take the responsibility of making sure they love you, or making sure that you somehow treat their inner self-hate. Because if they're being rude to you and you're trying to please them, you're digging yourself a hole, because you can't change them. And if they see you disrespect yourself, they're going to take advantage of that and throw even more of their inner self-hate towards you. Okay? You need to protect yourself. Protect yourself. And you can apply this theory or this concept or whatever in every single part of life, whether at work, with your boss, coworkers, colleagues, whatever it is, whether it's at home with your parents, with your kids, with your wife, with your husband, with your grandfather, grandmother, whether it's at school, university, charity, whatever it is. Someone's being rude to you and you've not done anything, 100% that person hates themselves and they're projecting, and you should protect yourself from that. Don't take it personally. Just smile and understand that that person is feeling what you've just felt 10 times more, because you felt just a little bit of the fire that's inside them, but they've always had that fire inside of them. So leave them be with the fire, protect yourself, and hopefully they find a way to extinguish the fire, hopefully. But you don't have to have that responsibility and take on that responsibility. You don't need to. Okay? And if you see someone being nice and genuinely pleasant and confident, know that that person deep down loves themselves and thinks good things about life and is being hopeful of life, and is someone safe and is someone you'd want to be with, whether that's as a friend or as a partner, spouse. And if someone's trying to discourage you, like, I'm going to use the gym example again because it's something that I'm well versed in. You rarely see people making fun of you when they're like strong and jacked and things like that. They always tell you, oh, you're doing so well, like, oh, that's amazing, even if you're not doing something like objectively impressive. But you see like a person, an older person at the gym, or like an overweight person at the gym, or like a skinny person, or a weak person, whatever it is, you feel happy for them that they're improving, and you genuinely want them to be better than you. You genuinely want them to be amazing and improve and have fun, and you just feel so much love and positivity towards those people because you've been there and you want them to be even better than you. However, a loser doesn't want you to win because they've not felt the beauty of winning, so they want you to feel the misery of losing because that's how they feel. They might be envious, they might be just poisonous. It's always the one that's beneath you that makes fun of you. Always. Just always. It's life. It's, as they say, like, if you're starting something, I don't know, maybe this YouTube channel, I'm not just doing this for fun, but like, if I was actually serious about this, like trying to make money or something, um, He's gonna always be the losers who are gonna be making fun of me. Like, oh, what are you doing, man? Let's not gonna, I don't know, it's not gonna be successful, whatever. But I'm doing this for fun, so I genuinely don't care. But my point is, it's always those people, always projecting their insecurities, self-hate, inferiority, and all of those things. Why? To feel slightly better about themselves. Okay? So if you have someone like that in your life, or people like that in your life, protect your peace and know that they hate themselves, they don't hate you. Okay? And I hope this was a helpful video, and I have a bit of a headache, to be honest, so I don't know if I'm doing the best performance in this video, but whatever it is. I need to go to the gym in a bit, and I also need to work on an assignment, have a lot of things to do, to be honest. But yeah, I'm procrastinating, but I guess in a good way. So yeah, I hope it was helpful, and I wish you the very best. Protect your peace. Don't let people be rude to you and disrespect you because they hate themselves. If they want to hate themselves, let them be. You don't need to participate in that. And don't be someone they can always throw their dirt on and their inner garbage on. Okay? Alright, guys. I hope you have a good day wherever you are.